Good morning. Welcome to our series on Proverbs. At Temple Baptist Church, we have several pastors that are here as part of our ministry, and we're excited this morning to have Pastor Jim Goodman. Brother Jim was a pastor down in Clarksville, Arkansas at Stillwell Bible Baptist Church, and retired there after 40 years, and now leads our young adults ministry here at our church. And he's going to do a great job leading our devotion this morning. So let's listen in on what he has to say.
Welcome to our daily devotion at Temple Baptist Church. Today in our time of devotion in Proverbs, we come to kind of a tough one. In Proverbs 5, we look at the subject of temptation. It says, "My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. Then you will show discernment, and your lips will express what you've learned. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is a bitter poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave. For she cares nothing for the path of life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray from what I'm about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you'll lose your honor, and you'll lose to merciless people all that you have achieved. Strangers will consume your wealth. Someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor. You will say, 'How I hated discipline if I'd only ignored all the warnings.' Not ignored all the warnings. Oh, why didn't I listen to my teachers? Why didn't I pay attention to my instructors? I have come to the brink of utter ruin, and now I must face public disgrace." Despite the common assumption, sexual temptation usually isn't something we just fall into or fall for, but rather it's something we take steps toward over a period of time. It's very clear to us in God's Word that we all have a real enemy who tries hard to sweet talk his way into our lives. Slowly and surely, like dripping honey, Satan tries to convince us that what he has to offer is better than what we have. He does his best to lure us into believing that the repercussions of sexual sin aren't that big a deal. He whispers into our ear things like, "People have affairs all the time," or "Nobody will ever know," or "It's only this once." But giving in to the seducing voice of Satan can lead to greater devastation than we could have ever imagined. When the father in Proverbs 5, verse 8, warns his son, he says, "Don't even go near her door." And he wasn't being extreme. Eventually, a series of small decisions can snowball us into a place that we swore we would never, ever go. All sins begins with a single choice, a decision to believe that we'll find greater freedom and satisfaction outside of God's boundaries of protection. Here in this proverb, in describing the intimacy two people experience in marriage, the father reminds his sons that obedience is not a prison, but rather it protects our true freedom. Coveting what is not ours, what was never meant to be ours, leads to death. But according to verses 18 and 19, gratitude for what God has given us leads to blessing and joy. Our choices are a great big deal. God knows every thought and the depths of our heart. He wants us to follow Him wholeheartedly, committed to His ways and His truth. As we close today, maybe you could ask yourself, what can you do today to put distance between yourself and any temptation that you might be facing? This has been our daily devotion from Temple Baptist Church. God bless you.